Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Ruth Furman, and this is Smart Business Moves. Hey,
Woohoo!
Ruth.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, Ruth, you were saying something right before we came live, and I said, "Stop talking, say it live." Right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Say it.
Oh, I was just saying I have a public relations firm and I am so passionate about the work I do in the cleaning, organizing, laundry, stain removal, home services industry because I feel like the information that we share and the work that you all do truly helps families.
Yeah, agreed. I'm glad that you're here, Ruth. It's your first time on Smart Business Moves, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's the first time we've had a PR person, isn't it, Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first time we've
I'm
ever had
sure.
a PR person. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I mean, I know there are a lot of PR agencies out there, but not many of them. I don't know of any of a true PR agency that spends time in the residential cleaning vertical.
now you do. Now you
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So Ruth, why don't you just give everybody what we only got 2 eyes on right this second. So is there any updates that we need to do real quick, Tom, before we
I've been preoccupied. I don't even know what's going on in the world.
Okay.
Today's Wednesday,
Getting
right?
ready for a wedding.
Yeah, he's got a wedding coming up there.
I got a new mustache.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, that's so funny. Denise, I know you'll appreciate this. When I saw Tom today, I said, "Oh, Tom, you got a new mustache," because he shaved his beard. All right. Yeah. Oh, look. Denise wants to know about your wedding real quick.
Yeah, my daughter Caroline's getting married on the 17th. We've been taking dance lessons.
Oh, what? That's
Mhm.
amazing. So are you going to get video? You and Janice dancing, or you and Caroline? I guess everybody, right?
This is Caroline and I are doing it.
Father and daughter dance. Oh, so sweet. Oh,
It's going to go viral. It's going to go viral. I love it.
I
We'll
know
see.
people love that. People love daddy-daughter dances. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited. There was something else I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I wanted to mention that next Tuesday, today's Wednesday. Yes, next Tuesday, everybody, we are starting our success series, the Foundations of Success series, next Tuesday, same time. It'll be a Zoom, y'all, so that you'll have a chance to talk, and we'll be going back and forth. It'll be more like a what, Tom?
More like a webinar.
Yeah, more like a webinar. Yeah. So you'll have a chance to engage. If you are not registered for that yet, remember you get a free month just to check it out and see if it's something that's interesting to you. What's that going to hurt? Go get your free month and see if it makes sense to you. We'll be talking leadership this first month, and just some.
How do I sign up?
Go up to events, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, Foundations of Success series calendar. Oh no, down below that, sign up.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
Sign up there.
and it's free for the first month.
It is.
So what do you got to lose? Come hang out with us. We'll
See what you think.
we'll actually be presenting. Liz and I will have material, and we'll be presenting. It's a learning opportunity. Not to say that you can't learn things with smart business moves, but we'll actually prepare for this.
Mm-hmm. Where Smart Business Moves, as y'all know, is it's more loose, free flowing, and we do that on purpose because we want to have real conversations. We don't want to have just some scripted, you say this and we'll say this, feed us what you want. Y'all have seen that with your own eyes. How many times have Sharon Timberg and I gone back and forth? Y'all know we can't choreograph that thing, right? So, Ruth, why don't you now? We're in here a little bit. We got some people that are going to be paying attention. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Oh, you're looking forward to hearing from Ruth? I know, she's amazing. Do you know Mark, Ruth?
I don't think so. Yeah, I know the name. I know the name. Yes.
you're definitely going to want to have a more connection with him. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about, we got a few eyes on here and who you are, what you do. What is PR for our industry?
I started as a journalist, and one of my first journalism jobs was in the home improvement industry. I wrote stories and edited stories helping owners of hardware stores, home centers, and lumber yards. So it seems like my evolution years later into doing work for a home services businesses just was very natural. So what I do in this industry, and I work in a number of industries, is I really help small business owners with expertise get seen online nationally in national publications and also in local news media, TV segments, feature articles, spring cleaning coming up. So I help them, my clients, amplify their voices. And I've also become a go-to for news media, as you both know, doing features on a huge variety of topics. I think one of the most fun ones we did recently was the coffee stains piece.
Fun for you, Ruth. Yeah, that was good.
It's interesting because what I'm seeing happen in healthcare too, as well as home services, is that the media, they're doing stories about things that are like, viral, clickable content. Yeah. I just helped with a story about cleaning reusable water bottles. So the media, they like to do stories about things that are topical and interesting to their viewers and readers. So that's a lot of, it is fun for me. And as you both know, sometimes they have really tight deadlines.
Yeah.
But I try to really be a go-to. And then what happens for my clients is I've started getting referrals from SEO companies because it helps some of these high domain authority websites that the content is posted on. Not only does it give my clients good content for social media, but it also really helps their Google ranking.
Sure.
How does that work? Can you explain that? I'm sure that a lot of people have no idea how that might help.
Yeah, and I have some referral sources who are SEO companies. So I am still learning because this is a relatively new division of my company. So what I do is I check the domain authority of the various websites, and I do whatever I can to be sure that my clients, when possible, get backlinks to their own websites or their bios. And it really just helps amplify the business online. And this is not in any way a substitution for Google ads or social media or other marketing. I find that the features in the national and local news media are just a complement to all of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Tom, do you have any questions? You know me, I just never run out of questions.
No, I mean, it's interesting that you're working with high domain authority websites, though. I mean, that's from an SEO standpoint. There's a lot of things you can do with a website to help with SEO, and once you do all of those things, basically the only thing that's left is getting backlinks to really good websites. And a backlink is basically just a clickable link that goes to your company website. So they'll write an article about how to get coffee stains out of whatever. And, we have a quote from the owner of XYZ cleaning service, and that will actually be a clickable backlink in that article where the owner or somebody for XYZ cleaning service is sharing how you get the coffee stain out of carpet. And that will make your website over time, links like that will make your website rank higher when they go to Google and say, find a house cleaning service near me. So, well, indirectly, you'll get more business because of that.
Right. I mean, I was finding that a lot of my clients in healthcare were really seeking that. They were seeking the type of content, not just being on local TV, not just being quoted in local newspapers, but many of them employ SEO services. And then the SEO companies were starting to notice that we were getting some traction and started referring me work in all kinds of industries. So now it's a direct strategy and a service that I offer to my clients. So it's really been interesting, and it's kind of fun. I kind of geek out, at this kind of thing, but it's just something that all of the small business owners I work with really want and really feel is important, because that's how we're getting found online.
And it's getting harder, not easier, right? It's not getting easier and easier to be found. It's getting harder and harder to be found. So looking for all of these different strategies makes perfect sense.
And, I want to be really clear. I am not an SEO company. I do not have a Google Ads program or anything like that. I am not a social media company. However, I work very closely with all those types of businesses for my clients. So I just decided it was important to me to be a PR firm owner in 2024, to really offer content that had some value.
Yeah.
And gave my clients, I call them digital assets, so that everything I do is an asset. So if you're featured in an article, if you're on TV, it's all an asset for you to repurpose on your website, on your social media. I often do blogs with backlinks. So yeah, it's becoming very important in the public relations business. In the past, when I first started doing work and home services, it was just all about getting my clients on local TV, getting them quoted in local newspapers, getting them interviewed on all different types of topics. But then as I've had some growth and gotten some additional clients in the industry, a lot of it has become about, I call it SEO PR. So it's actually a new service that I'm now marketing.
So the title for our discussion today is how a good PR strategy can improve your cleaning business. And, I've never really thought of PR as a strategy. I mean, it is, or it could be, I'm sure. For a lot of us, it's like, Ruth, you'll say, hey, I've got an opportunity, Better Homes and Gardens wants to know how to get coffee staying out of a carpet. Do you have any advice? And it really wasn't a strategy. It was just an opportunity. Sure, I've got an idea, and sometimes we get a backlink out of that, and that's awesome. But how do you get it from random acts of PR to something that really looks like a strategy? What does a strategy look like in PR?
And that's a really good question. I was just emailing with a business this morning about that, and they want to do more. I offer recurring project. I offer recurring programs, and then many PR firms offer retainers, and then there are projects. So what a strategy is, it really depends on the company. Many companies do a lot of community service. So I like to create for my clients an entire calendar. So what is going on? What are you promoting? What do you make the most money on? Deep cleaning, do you have a new service you're promoting? One of my clients just started promoting carpet cleaning. So it's really making noise strategically about what makes my clients the most profit, or what is the most newsworthy, or preferably both.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so help me out here, because I'm not quite getting it. So
okay.
let's say that so like Mark Baker, he always has a ton of brand new stuff that he's doing. Always, he's got some fresh idea. So let's say he tells you, hey, I've got this brand new idea. I really want to get it out there. Like, what would you do? How would you help him? Do you reach out to people that might be like, how does it work?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say it is Cancer Awareness Day, which it recently was, and someone is doing free cleaning services for cancer patients, or discounted, something like that. So then we would promote that particular business to the local news, to the local newspaper, offer Mark or someone from his team to go in studio to promote what they're offering. I know many of the businesses I've met through you do a lot in the community.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of what I call brand layering. So let's say Mark is doing something with another local business that isn't service to the community, that kind of thing is infinitely newsworthy to the local press. And it sets you apart.
You know who does this? First person popped into my head, Trisha Lake. You too, Tom?
Oh, she's all over it. And you know,
Yeah.
social media is a big part of her PR mix.
And she does that layering that Ruth is talking about. You know, she always has other companies that she's working with and everybody's getting a benefit. So how she would work with you is she would tell you about what she's got going on, and then you would get her wider recognition about this thing that she's doing by contacting local media, national media, etc. Right?
She's fantastic. And another great thing about some of the stuff that I have seen her do is it involves a lot of what I call community engagement, active community engagement, where people are dropping off, if I remember correctly, people are dropping off gift cards, making donations to something that she is doing, you know, company wide. So that is something that is really, really attractive to the media and is part of an ongoing PR strategy for someone like that, the community engagement. And it's with what she does, it's heart-centered philanthropy, but it's also community engagement, and it's also very effective brand layering. So yeah.
You know, I just thought of something though. I bet every single company out there has something that is noteworthy, that they don't even know. Is like one of the things I run into with the people that are in my circles. They're like, I don't do anything special. I'm like, what are you talking about? You totally do, you know, and I'll have an example for every single company because everybody's doing something that's kind of amazing, but to them, it just seems normal.
Yeah, Liz, you know, you brought up a good point. You had introduced me to someone in your circle. Mom had a couple kids on the East Coast, and we were talking about that. I was like, okay, school's out. What kind of things do you do in your household to keep your house from being a total train wreck? So that's something I had recommended to that individual. You know, go on TV with one of your kids and talk about it. So there's really a calendar. I always find out with my clients, when is public school out in your area? When is private school out? When is school starting again? And, you know, I try to help my clients with a lot of family oriented stuff. Also stuff with seniors in loneliness in the winter, you know, services. I mean, there's a whole list of ideas. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in my brain that I share with my clients, but you know, for those companies that do not want to hire a PR firm, there's a lot that they can do right in their markets with existing resources.
I can see how I could do this stuff. Sorry, Tom. I know you want to say something.
I'm just thinking, you know, the whole strategy part. Calendar seems to be a big part of it. Know what's going on. The layering part, I love that because you're just leveraging and you got more people that's going to help, you know, get this out in front of people.
Also the different media, right? So
Yeah.
TV, radio, different blogs, different social media channels. What's interesting and noteworthy on Instagram is not the same thing as what's interesting and noteworthy on Facebook. So I can see how that changes too.
Absolutely, Liz. And, you know, TikTok, I mean, there's a lot of, sometimes some of my clients will do a cool TikTok, you know, video and it'll turn into a TV story. So it's kind of cool. There's so many opportunities in the home services industry. And that's why I get so excited about doing this work. And that's why I've been so grateful to expand my client base nationwide so that I can really help in more communities.
Yeah. So the thing I was going to say is, I know that this is the kind of thing that you can do on your own. If you're Trisha Lake, you can probably go out there and do it yourself, right? I am not Trisha Lake. I can't do it myself. I don't have these ideas. You're very creative, Ruth. You're and you're a dynamo. So you're good at getting things done. But the thought of me trying to do what Trisha Lake does or what you does not sound fun. Does not sound easy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's like there's a lid for every pot, right? So I work, very, I'm very flexible in how I work with clients. Some clients, they have, the social media content all covered. They don't necessarily need the PR for that, but they don't have the relationships or the comfort level to pitch themselves to be on the radio or on TV or in the newspaper. So they have me help with that. So yeah, I mean, and then ideas. I have lots of ideas because I've been doing this for a long time, so and a lot of it is there are some things that I recommend that people can do for free, and then there are some things that they can retain my team to help with, just depending on sort of what their strategy is. Again, I'm really big on what makes them the most money and what they want to talk about. In some cases, it might be hiring, might be having a hard time hiring. So that might be an interview that they might want to do. They might have an employee that's doing something cool. It's really, the older I get and the more seasoned I get in my business, I'm really, really pausing to have those conversations to what do you want to make noise about, Liz?
Yeah.
I mean, it's National Dog Day. Let's talk about how to clean up, how to keep your house clean, in the summer, whatever it is. So yeah, it's really
Tom has something. He's like chomping at the bit over there. What you got, Tom?
No, but just to Liz's point, you said things you can do for free, and nothing's really free. You can choose. You're either going to invest your time doing it, or you can hire somebody else to help you do it. And it's an investment. You need to make an investment in this one way or another, which kind of gets to the point of what am I going to get for that investment? I mean, it's fun to see that national publication, get your name in it, or to get, on a local news channel. But do you have any examples of how that's helped people's businesses from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. And I am all about being paid and being valued for my work. I just like to be really helpful and really generous and give ideas for things that some companies may choose to do themselves. But yes, I definitely feel that time is money, and I hire help for my own business. So these national articles and these national backlinks have really been valuable to some of my clients, and have helped them get local recognition and local business.
Well, what do we do? What do we specifically do for free, though? What can we do for free, Ruth? Not what can you do for free? What can we do?
No, that's what I'm saying, Liz, is what you can do for free is, especially in some of these much smaller communities where you're probably running into the editor of the newspaper at your chamber luncheon, or you befriend someone at a TV station at a charity event that you're involved with. What you can do for free is you can pitch yourself, and you can be accessible, and you can make yourself available to be a go-to in the press. And that's what you can do for free. Or, you may have someone on your team who represents you at events who can do that on your behalf. And it's not free, but it's not something that is a big line item for your budget.
Yeah. So I think there are quite a few companies that try to do something like that. So instead of I might not be very good at networking, but I send my person over to do all of the networking, and right. And so they would just have to have some ideas of, like you said, what's the strategy? What are we trying to push? What makes us money? How are we going to position ourselves? Who do we need to get in front of? That kind of stuff. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I had a prospective client this morning reach out to me and said, I want to have you do that for me. It was a company in the home services industry, and I want to have you represent me at events, and I want to have you go on TV for me. Well, I know a lot, but I am not an expert personally on cleaning, disinfecting, so yeah, so it's something that I coach my clients or one of their team members on how to do. But yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's putting yourself out there, and PR and networking and community engagement. It's a beast because it's very time intensive, and we're in our offices and taking time to go to a go to a chamber luncheon across town is time intensive, but for those people that, have the resources and have the local contacts, I highly recommend doing that, even if you're already using someone like me to get you on TV and
Yeah,
on
do
the,
more.
pardon me?
Do more.
Exactly.
One thing that you had me do that I thought was super smart and I loved it was you had my head trainer write an article and get her name into, I don't know if it was Reader's Digest or Better Homes and Garden. I can't remember right now.
Martha Stewart, was Martha Stewart living?
Oh, yeah.
I remember. We've done a couple things together. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. But it was Martha Stewart. And oh my gosh, that was really good for the internal culture in my company. You know what? Pretty much now, if that head trainer says, hey, I think you need to do blah, 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 everybody's like, oh, Michelle said blah, blah, blah. She's an expert now, where before it's like, well, I've always done it this way. Or you know what I mean? It was like, but now
But you've never been published in Martha Stewart, so
that's right.
yeah.
Now she's an expert, and internally, our company sees her as an expert. But you know what? She also has more confidence. She also, just from that one little thing, like maybe seems little to me, but doesn't seem little to her, and feels like changed a lot of different things. So, I don't know.
That makes me happy, and that I think it's important, Liz and Tom, in the media, when you can, to not only have the owner be the face of the company, to really spotlight your staff, and there are a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons is when you don't want people expecting you necessarily to come to their home or office to clean. You want to spotlight your staff, and it's also really effective for SEO. I've been told by many of the editors at the publications that sometimes features pop more if someone with training or cleaning in the title is quoted as opposed to an owner or a founder.
Wow. Okay, that's neat.
Yeah, but it makes sense. I didn't ever think of that either. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So Ruth, one of the things I'm hearing here from a strategy standpoint, another dimension of this is some of the PR opportunities are responding to a request. Martha Stewart wants to write an article on a particular cleaning item, and it's an opportunity for experts in the cleaning field to contribute. At a local level, it's kind of the other way around, where you're looking to build relationships with local media, where I guess you could actually pitch them ideas. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Pam Clyde, who I believe you both know, she's such a superstar in Texas, Britlin. She did a TV segment, I want to say it was last January, about getting organized for the new year.
Oh, perfect.
And it was an in-studio interview. So absolutely, that was something that I actively pitched to the local TV station, and she popped it on her YouTube. And yeah, so a lot of what I do is proactive pitching, and some of it is taking advantage of opportunities that come to me because I've been a go-to, because a lot of media know that I have clients in this industry. But a lot of it is proactive, not just on the calendar, based upon the calendar and what's going on, but just ongoing stories. Mental health and cleaning is a big topic. So yeah,
do you have any advice in terms of how you pitch local media? Say you go to the Chamber of Commerce and you meet the editor of the local newspaper or the producer of a local news channel. It's like, okay, I want to get in the local news. How do you have their name and contact and you shook their hand, but how do you pitch them on an idea?
Well, you have to have a strong angle. You have to study their outlet, whether it's TV or a newspaper. So let's just say example. So I'm Ruthie's cleaning service in Alabama, and I meet the editor of the newspaper, and I also meet the producer for the morning show at my CBS affiliate. Okay, editor of the newspaper. Hey, so great to meet you. I have been in this town for 30 years. I am one of the biggest employers in town. And one of the things that kind of sets me apart is that I have a focus on hiring single moms
Okay.
or whatever. I just came up with that on the top of my head.
Yeah.
And I know, you're always writing. I've always seen you write stories about jobs. So here, I'm a local company and I'm looking to hire. I need to hire 6 people right now. And then for the TV station, I might say, I watch your morning show and it's so fun. And you have Jackie doing these live remotes. Why don't we have Jackie come into our headquarters, here in Alabama, and we'll teach her how to do spring cleaning.
Huh.
Okay.
Those are just
that
2
would be
things.
fun. Yeah. Just a fun little, so basically you have to know what they're interested in and pitch them based on that. But also I heard you use a little social proof and a little bit of data, right? To kind of open them up to listen to what you were saying. So
I have a friend who is a TV news anchor here in Las Vegas, where I live, and she likes to say, "Why now? So what?" So you've always got to be answering that question when you're having that conversation, and you've also got to kind of choose the time. I wouldn't necessarily hit them up right at that luncheon, but I'd get their business card and or their contact information. Even better if you can get their cell phone number on your phone and say, "Hey, I may follow up with you in a couple days with some ideas."
yeah.
So
Okay.
I try to kind of know that they're working the room too and be respectful and not take too much of their time. But I definitely take advantage of that FaceTime.
So, we've dabbled in publishing in the past. Derek and I, cleaning business today, all of that, and sounds like it's really fun. We're going to go ahead and we're going to curate, all these articles, about running a cleaning business. And you start off with all these ideas, and then it starts to become really hard. It's like, oh wow, what are we going to cover now? What are we going to say? What are we going to write about? So, imagine from running a cleaning business standpoint and doing what we do every day, we probably underestimate how excited some of these publishers would be. It's like, wow, I really needed something. Thank you. Does it work that way? I mean, are they sitting there? It's like, gee, I don't have anything to put on the news tonight. I hope something falls in my lap.
Tom, you're right. They really need content, especially I find with TV around the holidays, because they're doing all this holiday coverage and they're like, okay, a lot of our staff is off. We need some stuff for this week. So I've done stories about how to clean up after Christmas or how to get your house ready for surprise guests. So yeah, so it really is, they do, to answer your question, they really do need content, and you come to them and you provide them with ideas. And for TV, especially if it's very visual, and for newspapers, it could be a good business story. It could be a good people story. For radio, a lot of the community stuff is really exciting. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The news media needs content.
So, oh yeah.
Are there any tricks, any tips in terms of how to make it that much more attractive or that much more easier for them? I know there's a thing called a press release. Is there a certain way of presenting your story that makes it easier for local media to do something with it?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. I'm finding, I've had my own firm for 20 some years, and I'm finding, and I don't know if you find this in your business, no one has any attention span.
Yes.
I do press releases. However, the majority of what I do is what I call a pitch, and it's a paragraph with a few bullet points.
Okay.
Or it's even a text, super, super short and concise to get their attention. And I usually give like 2 ideas. I'll say, we could either do this or this.
Have you ever done it in a video?
I've done short videos and I've done voice memos. However, in my business with media that I don't know personally, I don't, because many times what they're doing with my pitch is they're sending it directly to their boss.
Mhm.
So they'll be like, who is this person in the orange and pink talking about cleaning? They don't know me, so it's weird. But
Okay.
but if it's someone you know, a video is good as long as it's short.
Okay.
Tom, you remember Stephen Rowell? I'm
Oh, yeah.
sure you do. All
I
right. Well,
do.
Stephen Rowell was this guy, Ruth, from, I don't know, a couple decades ago, maybe now. And one of the things that I always appreciated that he talked about and pushed goes along with what you said about the why now, so what. He said, pay attention to what's happening today and build a story around whatever that is. It doesn't matter what it is. You've got some spin on that. And like an example that I have right now is the press that's happening around, what's the name of the cups? Y'all?
Oh yeah, the Stanley Cups.
Yeah,
Stanley.
Stanley Cups, right?
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, we could have pitched a story about, how we gave everybody in our company Stanley Cup, blah, 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 and something about team engagement or something along those lines. Now we'd have to be talking about how do we protect the environment from minerals, whatever. All right. So, but it seems like if you can find something that's happening today and pitch whatever it is that you're doing around that, you're going to have better luck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I call that news jacking. And I helped with 2 stories about Stanley Cups, one for the local TV and one nationally, where they wanted to interview one of my healthcare clients about disinfecting them. So, so yeah, you're right. Anything that's hot is, the news. The reporter reached me and she's like, do you know anyone whose kid loves Stanley Cups? And so, yeah, so you're absolutely right. That's a great example.
So I wonder what we could pitch. Like, what could I have you pitch about my company to like a local media outlet about Stanley? Like, I know there's something, but it's so hard when it's your own company, but that's where you come into ideas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You just mentioned that you did that super cool, like, employee give back. So, that might be a good story. Or, let's say there's a story on your local TV station and Target has run out of Stanley Cups. You could say, hey, everyone's buying these Stanley Cups. Our team can show you how to effectively clean them. So
good. Yeah.
news
And keep them looking good forever, right? You've invested all this money in the Stanley Cup. Yeah. I love that phrase, newsjacking.
I created that. You're welcome to use it. Yeah. So it's really in weather's also, I don't know about you both, but I just got back from visiting my mom in Indiana, and weather is infinitely newsworthy. So it just rained in Las Vegas. So everyone was doing stories about weather. So anytime you can tie into weather, things going on in town that you can tie your expertise in, it's very, very helpful. Dust, bugs, all of that.
Oh my gosh, I love what Mark says right here. Yeah, that you are so spot on, Mark. I think that it is hard to pitch yourself, right?
Yes.
I mean, for a lot of people, it's really hard to pitch yourself and to pitch yourself hard. Who was I listening to? Melinda. Oh, I can't think of her name. Mel Harris? No. Oh, no, different Mel. Anyway, she was talking about this too, how it's so hard, and more so for women than men, I think, to pitch themselves just pitch themselves, where men are used to talking about themselves in more of I'm amazing, I am kind of a way. That's what Tom's like, all the time.
Oh, stop. But I mean, is it kind of fall in the category of, successful people are prone to action and just do it. We're not landing airplanes here. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to learn something and get better at it, right?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, and to Liz's point, I think that some women, it's like, we feel like we're bragging, and it's just a little cringy. Oh, I'm going to pitch myself to talk about myself or my business. However,
like ashamed or embarrassed or yucky.
just uncomfortable, like I can't imagine Tom, reaching out to his TV station and saying, hey, I want to pitch a story about father-daughter dances, and my daughter and I want to be on TV. I can't. Would that be comfortable for you, Tom? Not to put you on the spot, but
it would. I would have to think about that a moment. Yeah.
But you're not a real pitchy guy, though, Tom. You are not the stereotypical. I don't want this to sound bad, but you're not the stereotypical strong, big ego guy that is just
finding the
out
spotlight
there and talks about how great you are and what you're doing and all of that. That's just not you. I haven't ever seen you. Thank you, Denise. This is right. It's Melody Edwards is who I was talking about here.
Oh, got it. Write that
Yeah,
down.
she was just talking about this recently.
But I mentioned father-daughter dance, and that's a good example. I mean, in some cases, it might be a story about you or someone in your company that has nothing to do with cleaning, but it's kind of a sneaky way to shine the spotlight on your company. So that's another thing I do a lot with my clients.
Good.
And I guess really this whole example here maybe illustrates why it would be a good idea to hire somebody to help with this.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like hiring a trainer. It's like our coach. It's like all you need to do is do what they tell you to do, and you don't have to think much about it. It's not like you're the one that's bragging. You're just doing what you're told to do.
Yeah, you're just following orders. I'm thinking right now, I bet the media outlets are looking for fresh angles on Valentine's Day. They've got to do Valentine's Day. They got to do Love, Mother's Day every single year, right? What are some? I'm not asking you this, but I'm thinking.
Easter, spring cleaning. No, absolutely. I mean, so it's really kind of like I brainstorm with my clients and say, here are some things that are coming up. Are you doing anything special? Valentine's Day, I was just working with a client in the home services business about, what do you do if someone comes over last minute for Valentine's Day? What are 3 things you can do quickly at your house that you could talk to media about? So, it's really fun.
I want to know why someone's coming to my house for Valentine's Day. You get out of here. Don't be coming over.
This was a Galentine's Day story. It was a story that Galentine's Day is actually on the calendar, and somebody was having a bunch of girls.
Gallon with a G?
Galentine's Day, yeah, it's a thing.
What is it?
It's a special. I'm actually going to a Galentine's Day thing tomorrow night, but it's the whole month of Valentine's Day. Women gather and in friendship.
Oh,
so
okay. Galentine's Day.
And there's also Singles Awareness Day, I think, is the day after Valentine's Day. So I've helped with some stories about that too.
We need a Palentine's Day, right? For just pals to like have two if they're gonna have Galentine's Day. I don't know. All right, that's good. So really just tapping into that stuff. So Mark is saying right here, I guess we didn't show this one. The initial idea might come, but then fear takes over and people talk themselves out of it. So to Tom's point, yes, the PR person tells me what to do. Yes, I can do that. But also I really like the idea of the PR person just being the one that goes out and does it. And just, I don't have to worry about the fear taking over. I don't have to worry about trying to fit it into my schedule, find a time. Just like, so we're reading in Book Talk right now, we're reading Who Not How, right? That book, Who Not How. And I love that book, and not the whole idea, but the large bulk of this idea is don't do the things that you're not amazing at, right? Find the things that you're amazing at, do those. Get other people who are amazing at those other things to do those things. It's the fastest way to kind of scale your business faster, bigger, better, is by you not doing stuff you're not good at. But especially small businesses have a tendency to do all the things. I feel like we have to do all the things. Tom, you've kind of popped out of this a little bit with Made Central, haven't you? You've had to kind of pop out of this a little bit. You can't do all the things. You hired 2, or do you have 3 full-time developers now, or 2?
We have 3 full-time developers. Yeah.
But back in the day, you were kind of the one steering the boat about what was going to be developed, and your first guy worked like a few hours, and then, but
Yeah,
now,
they don't let me do much of anything anymore. It's kind of cool.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So how do we, part of that is this. We got Ruth over here. She's the who.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing the who stuff, at least in this area, unless you're Trisha Lake. Right?
Well, actually, it really varies by the company, So let's say, and I do represent some of my clients with the media directly.
Yeah.
And I have my talking points, figured out, and I have the expertise from the clients. But, in my opinion, and I don't want to be, I'm a guest on your show, so I don't want to make you mad. But in my opinion, the owner or the worker bees, the deep cleaners on your teams are really going to be the best people to be the face of the company, and not third-party publicist.
But not to pitch it to the...
Oh, no. I misunderstood. No, pitching, absolutely. In many cases, because we know kind of the length and how to do it. Do we send them a link to something on YouTube? Like, we know kind of the best way to get their attention. However, as far as being the face of your company, it's better if it's somebody on your team, even if it's not you, Liz. Even if you have one of your team members, do it. So
I totally agree with that. I think that makes really, really good sense. But that's kind of to the point of, I don't want to learn how to, like Tom was saying, like, do we do a press release? How do we do it? All good information, but I really don't want to learn how to do that.
And the fact of the matter is, we're not excellent at that. It's okay. I can sing, I can dance, I can draw. I'm just not very good at any of it, so I'm better off hiring people to do those things.
I feel the same way about your business. I wash down all my counters after I make a meal, and but I have someone who I hire to help clean my home. So I think that someone like me, and there are PR people, that work all different ways, but I think we do offer a lot of value. It just really, really needs to be something that is going to add a value for you and for your marketing and for your social media. So it just needs to be very strategic, and it really needs to be aligned with what you want to make noise about. So it's a conversation, usually multiple conversations, and a lot of creative idea sharing. So I love what I do, and I'm so lucky to do it.
I'm glad you love what you do, Ruth, because I do not love what you do. For me, I would not want to do it. Someone has to do it, and you're the right who for that, because you do love it. You eat and drink this stuff.
I make the analogy with like singing and drawing and stuff like that, and I just try to tie that in so that point makes a little bit of sense. It's really obvious if somebody's really a good artist as opposed to somebody who's just trying to draw a picture. It's crystal clear. You can see the difference. A lot of times it's a lot more difficult when we're trying to build our own website or trying to do our own public relations. We think we're doing a good job. We don't really. It's harder to see the difference between just doing it yourself versus a real professional. And am I making any sense? It's harder to see the difference.
Especially in your small business, it's hard.
But the difference is real, and the difference matters. It's the pinch of baking powder that can make all the difference.
I like that. Yeah. And it's like you're scheduled. Every minute of your day is accounted for. You're doing schedules, you're working with your team, you're doing a lot. So is this the greatest and best use of your time? Not necessarily. So in some cases, if you decide it is an effective strategy, it's a good idea to talk to an outside PR resource to hold your hand and help you and kind of work hand in hand with you to figure out what makes the most sense and to amplify all the cool stuff you're doing.
And we might have to do it, right? We're small businesses. We can't afford to pay everybody to do everything so some of the stuff we have to do it. We, like that, even if we're not good at it, we still have to do it. I might have to create the copy for my website, even though it's not great. It's not amazing. I might have to do a lot of the different things, but it seems to me like this is a really good area to get off your plate quickly because it can make a big impact faster, where some things, even if you get other people to do them and they do them really well, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Website copy, I think that's good. SEO, yeah, another really good one. And what you do seems to be another one of those. Get someone else to do it. Otherwise, you might just not even do it.
I think so. And I agree, obviously, because it's what I do. I was talking to a friend of mine right before we got on who has a social media company, and she just got a new client. So I think that people are seeing websites and social media as they should, as absolutely necessary. PR gives you content for your website and for your social media, but it's not as necessary. However, it's very, very helpful, and it's a great way to help you stand apart. But I'm the first person to say that if a client was deciding between having a website or having social content or doing PR, I would recommend they do the other two
first. Not that they would only do them, just that they would do those first, right?
Yeah.
Build that up, build this up, then do this. I mean, you can't do everything all at the same time. You got to prioritize what's got to be done first.
And I won't even work with a client that doesn't have a website, Liz and Tom, because in the past I've had people who just have Instagram pages and they wanted to be on the news, but it just doesn't work well because then the people that watch the story don't have any way to contact them. So I insist that all of my clients at least have a brochure website at minimum.
Well, speaking of websites, Tom, maybe we should share Ruth's, because I just looked at the time here. We only got a few more minutes.
Great. I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
And while you're popping that up, Tom, I'm just going to pop up this. Ooh, great picture, Ruth, though. Can we just all take a moment to acknowledge Tom's mustache, is what Mark Baker says. Mark, you were late to the meeting today. Otherwise, you would have heard us already commenting on this. All right. But Ruth, I love this picture of you. Your hair is amazing.
Thank you.
So cute.
I just dropped the link into chat. So if you want to talk to Ruth more about, public relations and how she can help with that, just reach out. The local media in particular, if you're a small company, you can spend a lot of money on advertising just to try to build a brand so people can hear about you. Just being on a local news channel can be one of the cheapest ways that you can actually build brand recognition. And once people start knowing that you're there, it's kind of a synergistic effect with your paid advertising and everything else. It works better for you. So yeah, you need a website, but right after you get the website, you want people in your local community to know that you're there and what you do and what makes you special. And that's where Ruth can help you.
I wonder if, we all of this stuff has to be done. We have to do all of these things. Is there a certain, what I'm thinking is market size? Like if you live in a big market, is it going to be more valuable for you? Or if you're in a small market, do you need to do it and it'll pop you to the top faster? Is there any consideration there, like market size?
I would say no. I would say the platforms and the stages that you're playing on are different, but it's valuable in every market. Sometimes it's a little easier in smaller markets. However, sometimes in smaller outlets, you don't have as many media outlets.
Oh yeah.
So it just really varies, and sometimes in smaller markets, I find it a little easier to get clients on TV than in the bigger markets. But in the bigger markets, usually they have 6 stations. And, I also highly recommend that clients that have employees who speak different languages, I highly recommend getting on the Spanish speaking stations and
Yeah.
all of that. So it just depends on the market. We develop kind of a custom media list and figure out who your target is.
I'm also curious, like back in the day, I think being on TV was like a really big deal. 20 years ago, getting on TV seemed like a really big deal. How important is TV today? Do a lot of people even watch TV nowadays? Like the those typical channels, CBS and ABC and
Well, here's what I'm going to say, because I don't have like the Nielsen numbers for, all of the different markets that you all work in. However,
Yeah.
what I will say is one of the reasons that my clients like TV is because it's awesome content for their websites, for their social, and for them to use as blogs and backlink. So it doesn't really matter if anyone sees your newspaper article or watches your segment at 5 a.m, you're going to reshare it. So that's why my clients like TV, radio. Yeah.
All right. So that was a perfect example of why you want to hire somebody to do it, because it's so easy to get caught up in stupid thinking, right? But the person who knows what they're talking about is like, no, you missed the point again, Liz. You forgot what we're talking about.
I do this all day long. I get it. And it's a really good question.
So
they might not watch.
It's crazy how fast an hour goes. We are at the top of the hour. So Ruth, thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ruth. Hopefully people will reach out to you if they're looking for some PR opportunities, and I'll see you next week, y'all. Tom, you're not gonna be here, right?
I'm gonna be getting ready for the wedding. Yeah, we got a lot of moving parts, but Ruth, we appreciate what you do for the industry too. It's important, and you're helping us move in a very good direction. Thank you. So we're going to call it a wrap for today. Next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern, and Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Go to coreprofitbuilders.com and sign up. It's free for the first month, and hope to see you there too. Y'all take care. Bye bye.
See y'all. Bye.